Hello, Elijah.
Oh, Kat, how you doing?
How's it going? Pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, before we start, I would like to introduce you quickly to my interpreter. We have Rachel, who will be interpreting for you, and we have Erica, who will be interpreting for me for concept accessibility for the deaf and hard of hearing and accessibility for all the fluents out there.
Great. Hi, nice to meet you, Erica and Rachel.
All right, well, Elijah Malcolm, thank you for coming on to the Cast Jack podcast. And I appreciate for the effort, the time, and the flexibility, trying not to cross any red tape from where you were before. So I'm happy to have you come on just to have a chat.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm happy to join. I'm glad it all worked out, so I could be here and finally sit down and chat with you.
Definitely awesome. Let's start off. How did you get into acting? What was your purpose for theater? Was it something that you always wanted to do in your life?
Yeah, I've always been like a creative individual. As a kid, I had this energy that my mom didn't really know what to do with. Um, and so it kind of just like my mom would always say that I should put you in commercials, and I was just like, yes, absolutely, I would love to do that. Um, and so it was kind of just something that I always loved to do. Really, for me, performing started out first with singing. I had my first live performance when I was 5 years old, singing a song for Mama by Boys to Men, sitting on my mom's lap at my elementary school like fair. Um, and I just loved it. It was something that I've always loved to do. And as I got older, um, my interests would shift. Like I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I guess one day it kind of just hit me that if I was an actor, I could be anything I wanted. You know, I could be a doctor, I could be a cop, I could be a superhero, I could play a lawyer. All of these things um, were kind of wrapped up in one, and it allowed me, to explore what it means, what a person like a lawyer, what their day to day look like, and get a glimpse of that. And I really love that aspect of it. And so I decided to take my first like theater class when I was in middle school. I talked to my best friend Sean since like the second grade. We've been best friends into taking it with me because I was too nervous to take it by myself. And he and I both loved The Fresh Prince. And so I was like, Sean, this is how we get to be the Fresh Prince. This is how we do it. Like, and so I took my first drama class, and I loved it. Um, and then after that, I didn't really touch like anything theater wise again until college. I in high school focused more on like music and things like that because that was like my first love. And then I decided that I wanted to go to a performing arts college and like really get training and really understand what it means to be an actor and to be an artist. And to get training in all three disciplines: singing, dance, and acting. Um, and so I decided to go to a performing arts college and major in musical theater. And then from there, I was auditioning for local theaters around LA, going to a few different big theater auditions. Like I went in for Lion King and a bunch of things that were just having open calls. And then that's eventually how I ended up booking Hamilton through an open call. I auditioned first right after college, like right after graduation, and then it was a 2 year process from there of about 8 auditions total.
My goodness, yeah, that brings us to the next point for Hamilton. I've seen Hamilton maybe 2 or 3 times when it first came out. My daughter, back then when it came out, she was like, I love Hamilton so much. It's so good. The act out. I'm only watching Hamilton because I'm Lin Manuel. I just have like an eternal infatuation with him and his acting, his singing, his talent. So tell me about your experience working with Hamilton. touring with Hamilton and your life because I know you eat, sleep, breathe Hamilton. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, the touring experience in general with a theater show is completely different because your schedule is different than a show that is sitting in a Broadway house. Um, because, I think they're trying to capitalize on, people's schedule and availability. Whereas here in the city, you can have a Wednesday or midweek matinee, but out on tour, you have one show a week, Tuesday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday, you have two shows back to back. And then Monday, you're off. And then back at it again on Tuesday. So it's a real we would always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. Um, because by that second show on Saturday, first show on Sunday, you're feeling the loopies a little bit. Having been through five or six shows before this point, and week. Um, so it was definitely like something that I had never experienced before. The cool thing was everything that I learned in college, I used. It was really cool to see everything that my professors were teaching me. I could apply practically to my experience on tour. I had to take care of myself vocally, which meant getting tons of rest, making sure I did vocal warm ups and cool downs, drinking lots of tea. Um, making sure my body was ready as well because it's a physically demanding show. It's a 3 hour show, and it's unique in that way where not many shows the first and second act are the same length. Normally the second act is a little bit shorter. And so having the training really, really helped me be able to rise to the occasion of booking, my first big contract and being able to execute that at a level that I didn't even really know that I could because up until that point, I hadn't done 8 shows a week. So, like, I knew that eventually I would have to, but I didn't know what exactly that would look like for me and the toll that it would take on my body, what exactly it was. Like I had an idea of what exactly it would require of me. But being able to see it in like a practical sense and experience it and be like, oh, okay, there's my limit. Okay, I need to rest. Okay, I need to do this vocal warm up was definitely a learning curve. At one point, I got pre-nodes, which was super scary because I could lose or I couldn't sing, with part of my voice. And that was really scary because it was a lot of my money notes. And so I had to do speech therapy, rest from the show for a while just so that I could recoup and everything could be working in like proper working condition. It was just like overuse and constant misuse, because for my track personally, I was at the top of my register the whole show. And I'm sure out of the over 1,000 shows that I did, there were some in there that I probably wasn't singing properly because of just being exhausted.
That's
But I had
amazing. I mean, I can't believe like how the actors and singers fight you toured or back-to-back shows. I mean, I cannot imagine them doing back-to-back TV shows or movies or reality shows. Like keep going one after another because, like you said, you had almost no idea about getting into Hamilton, like the depth the schedule
yeah,
back to back, practicing and different scales or different notes and thinking. I mean, I was like, that's a lot. And I'm glad that you took the time for the stuff and think I'm like, okay, I could do this. Oh, I cannot do this. I need to rest. So I'm
right.
sure during the 5 year tour, several of you or you have gotten sick or cannot maybe perform a live show, who's your replacement or understudy for yourself or whoever in the cast for Hamilton?
Yeah, so they have an onstage company and an offstage company. And so the offstage company, they They basically are there if somebody gets injured or is sick, and can't go on and do the show. And a lot of the offstage company covers multiple tracks, so they'll cover at least like 3 to 6 tracks, or like 2 to 6 tracks, depending on their role. So you have principal standbys who only cover principal roles, which would be like Loft Jeff, Hamilton, Lawrence Phillip, like myself, Lafayette. Oh no, I said Loft Jeff. Burr, the Schuyler sisters, all of those roles. And then you have your swings, and like standbys, and they cover all of the ensemble tracks, which is insane because, depending on who they're going on for, they may have to do something either to the left or to the right, and so they have to know what track they're going in for and where they need to be, how they need to execute. And it's incredible. It's incredible. It's such a well-oiled machine, that luckily we can normally plug in the pieces and like make it all work and go. Um, but you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. And that was part of the fun of being on tour. I personally loved when somebody new was on stage, or somebody who hasn't been on stage in a while, because they always brought a different energy to the show. And it was fun to explore and fun, to play with this person who might do something a little bit differently as Hamilton, as our regular Ham. And it was a constant journey of exploration. Like every night there was something new every night.
Yeah, it's amazing because every time I watch a play like Hamilton on some kind of Broadway on TV on Disney, like, okay, this is a Broadway show, musical, why is it on, Disney or Netflix? Just really amazing and it's really, really good. Of course, I love history. So my daughter, she was all like, Hamilton, I cannot remember her favorite song, but she was like, sing along with Hamilton while it was all out. Then it's fun. Then it's fun. That was her favorite song. Then it's fun. So she was
That
right over there. So she loved that song. She was, I used to sing it all the time. So that she really, I was like, hey, I guess I'm going to be talking about him. She goes, wait, what, who? I was like, yeah. But she's very shy. So she was like, walking by, she's like peeking in. She's like, and then
that's
she's
all.
walking away. I'm like, that's okay. So how did your life like adjust or open up after the experience on Broadway and Hamilton? Have you done any other Broadway shows? I know you did a Christmas theme reality show, but any more theater work you have been into St. Hamilton?
Yeah, not at the moment. Things have actually been pretty slow for me. So currently I've just been like writing things with friends, and like really digging into my own like passion projects, which have been fun. Um, and auditioning when they come in. But it's a numbers game. The thing about this business is, you're gonna hear a lot of no's. You're gonna get close to something, and then it's gonna be a no. You know what I mean? So it's just about being resilient and really learning from each experience and applying that to the next audition. And so yeah, things have been slow. I've just been enjoying being a dad, um, digging into my own passion projects. I do have something coming up that I can't talk about yet. That's really really exciting, and I can't wait to share with everyone when the time comes for me to share that. So yeah, I mean, there's great things happening, and I'm very excited for what's to come. So that's just what's been up lately.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed watching the Christmas theme reality show. It was different. It was like a fresh breath of air. And I loved every one of the contestants for their own knowledge, own talent, and own experience, and the purpose they bring on that show.
Hmm.
And I was rooting for you for no other way. But I'm happy that you were the runner up. So I want to talk about like what was your experience about being in the show? How did they help you? Because I know you were in theater acting. So how would that show able to help you with acting? Like if you're not into theater, you could possibly be in a TV show or another fun reality show, or maybe eventually a supporting role or background in one of the movies.
Yeah. Um, it was a great experience. I learned a lot about, what it takes to do film and TV. Because, like I said, my training background is in theater. I've done theater, and in theater, you're performing in large houses where you have to play to the back of the house because the people way in the back of the balcony need to feel just as much a part of the experience as the people in the front row. With film and TV, you have to keep that same level of intensity and intention and truth, but make it physically smaller. And that was a tough thing to calibrate. I think eventually throughout the show, I got there. And I'm just personally somebody who is of the mindset of there's always more growth to be had. There's always more learning. Um, and so I still think that I could go further. I still think that I could take what I've learned from the show and apply it and take it even further. Now I've started to just pick up on certain little like small bad habits that I'm being more aware of now that I learned while I was on the show. And it was so cool to be a part of something new and refreshing, like you said, that was just so loving and positive, and that the whole family could get together and watch, and kind of have somebody to root for and be a part of this thing, that makes you feel good, but also is, based in a competition format. Um, and I loved that idea. I love that concept because it was something totally new. And, what other opportunity do you get to get like real hands on training and experience behind it, or I mean, in front of a camera, on an actual set with actual working actors who do this every day? And that knowledge, those things that I learned while on the show, were definitely something that was, what's the word I'm looking for? It was I can't put a price on that. You know what I mean? It was just something that was so valuable. Um, and then to top it off with getting an opportunity to bond with the guys and to leave the show with really new lifelong friends, was made the experience even better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was looking forward to every episode to see what to expect, but like you said, it's really cool. It's like a different kind of show. It's not like, it's a, because most shows you could see a little bit of like a unhealthy competition or something like that. So, it could be fun to watch. But like, I mean, these are people, these are human beings. I mean, but this show was more like fun, family oriented, friendship, or just have fun, and of course, feel like an acting class or acting school or something to, because every show, every episode has a different challenge or throw you in a skin. You're like, okay, bring it. So it was really interesting. And I know I've talked with a couple of other guys for this podcast. So very funny guys, and they're just unique in every one of them. And they share how they leave the show. They made so many friendships and closeness and just knit each other a community. So if you would let go from her, but they were still in contact with you after the show or and until they get booted off.
Mhm.
So tell me about the friendship and relationship that you had developed on the show and after the show, like how you guys supported each other, even though you're competing to the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, the thing was, yes, I was in a competition. But at the end of the day, like you said, all of the guys were so unique and so individual that we really were just in competition with ourselves every day. Could we show up and be a better version of ourselves than we were yesterday? Could we take the things that we learned from the challenges yesterday, apply them, find new challenges today, new experiences to learn, and move forward? And so going into it with that lens, like it made it very easy to be cheering on the other guys, even though we were in direct competition with each other. Um, because I genuinely wanted the other guys to do well. Um, and I genuinely felt like if they did well, it didn't take anything away from me because we're all different. We all bring something different. So like if he does well, it just makes me want to do even better, and it formed like this healthy um
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
this healthy competition between the guys. Um and after the show, like I still talk to almost all of the guys. I still talk to Hayden, Daxton, Blake, Parker, Jonathan, David. Like we're all in a group chat and we all like check in every now and then. But like uh Parker and his wife and son Levi have just been out here in the city for a few months, and we all hung out and had a good time. And we were planning to hang out again, but it didn't work out scheduling wise. But yeah, I mean, I want to go to Texas and hang out with Blake and Parker and see the guys. But like, whenever somebody's in New York, I'm like, let's hang out. Come on, like we got to see each other. And it's great. That was something that I didn't expect going into the show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you never know what brings it out to you. And like you said, like if one person struggles on a specific area, okay, you guys come together to help each other. Okay, this is what you gotta do, or hey, tone that down a little bit, do a little bit more of that. So I could see a lot of support from everybody on the show, and it's really amazing because they don't let the competition get into them in their mind because they're here. I'm going to do the best that I can because
Right.
I have that good, but I want to learn how to do this good. I'm going to learn from him. I'm going to learn that from him. I'm going to help him do that. So it's really nice how the show bolted out, and I'm very excited for season two. So we'll see how that goes and what other fun things we will be expecting to watch.
Yeah, I'm very excited for season two as well. I'm excited to see how they raise the stakes, because I feel like the thing with reality competition shows is like they always raise the stakes. And um Jonathan Bennett and Hallmark, they absolutely did that every episode. Like I felt like the stakes kept raising every episode. So I'm very excited to see how they build upon what they've already established in season two.
Were there any surprises or any challenges that you felt, oh, I have to do that? How did you overcome your surprises or the challenges by the talent or the skill you already had?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest challenge for me was the photo shoot. Um, I just, I just, I just painted a little too broadly. Like I pulled in too many colors. I played just a little too much. And I think I missed the mark on that one. But I was really focused on wanting to show my personality. And I'm just like a goofy, funny kind of guy, and I felt like there was a place for that here. And I wanted to show every facet of my personality. I could be serious, I could be funny, I could, be all of these things. And I felt like that would best serve me. Turns out it didn't, and I definitely needed the advantage that I had. So it ended up working out great. I actually definitely took notes and learned from Parker and Hayden because I thought they had excellent, excellent shots that episode. Um, and I I really also learned for myself actually that episode that I just need to really focus in on what was being asked of me and focus on that and focus on doing that to the best of my ability. And once I figured that out, I think it really served me well moving forward for the rest of the show.
How did your life change after that? Did you feel like it opened up your opportunities and a door of possibility like with dinner or TV shows, movies, and you feel like, okay, I've learned how to do this. I have some skills to do this. So is there like a opportunity or a dream that you hopefully you will adapt to that world and see how it plays out like another reality show if it fits for you and if you're comfortable doing a reality show or a movie or a TV series, so hopefully they will come knocking on your door and letting you come on, do the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I I have always said that I would love to do a reality show if it's the right one. Um, I don't want to be on a reality show that's like toxic or any of that, like the negativity I want to stay away from. But if there's a reality show that is, not super toxic. I've always said that I'm game for it. And I found in my auditions that I hear more back from film than I do TV. Which is very interesting and something that I definitely want to lean into moving forward, especially with this show on my resume now. Um, I because I've shown that I can act in this on a large scale. Like people have seen me act, and they've seen my skill set. And personally, I think that there's only growth to be had from every experience. So like, was very happy with what I showcased on the show, and now also I'm like, okay, how can we be better? How can we take these things and apply it to the next thing? And hopefully, it'll just open an opportunity for me. It hasn't yet, but I definitely think that it will.
So what do you think, like you said, you had different feedback from TV shows or short series compared to like movies or longer like theater. What do you think that's the reason? What is the reason and how is it different? The feedback is more shorter or longer for TV show compared to movie. Because movies tend to be just a movie, no like episode or series. So what makes you think it's a little different? You think, oh, I have more feedback in there, but less feedback than this. I think I'm gonna go this way.
Yeah. It's just I with film and TV, you rarely hear anything back from any of those auditions. Um, and so I've had a bunch of TV auditions and have heard nothing back. But I've had a handful of film auditions as well, and I usually like either get notes back or get a call back or something like that. Um, and so it is very interesting to think. I don't know if it's my look or if it is something that I'm doing that makes those casting directors and those creative teams lean a little bit closer in. It's just something that I've noticed as I've submitted auditions in the past and going forward. Um, and so it does make me wonder or like make me perk up a little bit. And I have mentioned it to my agents, like maybe this is something that we should lean into or pay more attention to. I hear more back from film than I do TV. And it's just an interesting thought or experience that I've had while working in the industry.
Du Papa Tina, du Papa là bị án stage Tina or du Papa like bị point of the camera acting. What about du Papa or du Papa both?
Yeah, that is a tough question. I think I see myself more in the film and TV world. However, I love theater. There is nothing like theater. The experience of performing on a stage to a live audience that is there in the room with you, I don't there's nothing like it. You when something goes wrong, you have to like figure out a way to keep moving and keep going. And that's nerve-wracking but also thrilling and exciting at the same time. And when the audience is in the room with you, there's an energy exchange as well, like their emotions and your emotions kind of become one. um and hopefully they leave the show having felt an experience. Um and I with every you don't get that necessarily with every film or TV show. And you definitely don't get the experience of sharing the space with your audience. You know what I mean? Mostly people watch those things in the comfort of their own home or like in a theater. And so they'll share that experience with the people that they're watching with. But when it's in a theater and you're on stage, it's like the actors, the crew, the people running the sound, the audience, everyone is here collectively partaking in this experience, and giving something to this experience, whether you're giving your attention or whether you're performing, and you're giving your emotions, whether you're a part of the crew and you're giving your expertise on the lighting or hitting mic cues and all of those things. They all work together to make this thing happen, so that people can experience a story. And that is this it's there's nothing like it.
Yeah. You have a favorite musical or a favorite dinner play that you really enjoyed?
Yeah. I think I always go back to The Lion King. I always do because it was one of the first shows that I ever saw when I was a kid, and I loved the movies growing up. Um, and it was the first time that I was just like in a theater and was locked in to what was happening on the stage because I was so intrigued by everything that was going on, from the costumes to the lighting, and I was so curious as to how they were going to do the stampede scene. I remember sitting in my seat thinking, how are they going to do that? How are they going to do that? Um, and I thought the way they did it was so cool because they have like the shot from the movie, I think, projected onto a screen, and then they have people in costumes. And like, but it feels massive. It feels like this giant crowd, and you can't really tell unless you're really really looking at it that there's a screen, faking the other thousand buffalo or whatever it is. And I thought it was so cool, and like how they come through the aisles, it was just extremely captivating. And I have vivid memories of it to this day, so I think I gotta go with Lion King.
Yeah, Lion King, wonderful. I like the Disney movies, and I was to do dog study for Christmas card last December, so we were able to go to Times Square and to see up at the outdoor Radio City, and they had this whole Lion King thing. I was like, if I had time, I would just sneak in a show. So hopefully next time I go to New York City, maybe I will actually go to a Broadway show or whatever showing that time of the year.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Christmas in New York is magical. But if the hard part about being in New York is there's so many shows and you want to see them all. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what to pick. I might just have to pick up room to New York for maybe 6 months to catch all the shows.
right.
So tell me since the show and the reality show, I know you recently became a dad. So let's talk about parenting. I mean, she's so adorable. With the hair and everything, so adorable. So happy for you and Ashley.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great. My daughter just turned 7 months old on the 30th. So that's been cool. We kind of celebrate a little bit. We'll do like a little photo shoot and light a little cupcake every month. Um and it'll be cool because she'll by the end of it have like this collage that she can go back and look on as she grows and gets older. Um and it's fantastic. I didn't know what to expect coming into this. I mean, like I had some idea, the lack of sleep, the dirty diapers, but I didn't really understand how I could like love someone this much. And like it just grows every day. Like, and I love watching her grow, watching her laugh, and she's so curious about everything. She wants to see everything, and so I'm constantly like carrying her around the house or cleaning up with her in my arms and doing things. It's been great. It's been fantastic. She started solids a couple months ago, so that's been fun. And she wants to walk already, and she doesn't even crawl yet.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, both of my kids are in their teenage era, so I have no babies. So my brother is expecting another baby, so I should borrow him and give it back because I'm like, I have teens. That's too much for me right now. So I'm
Yeah,
really happy, and that's all I have for you. So I really appreciate you anytime for coming on the podcast. I usually give a little bit of a spotlight for the guests if they want to ask any questions or provide any comments before we wrap this up.
yeah. I think I do have a question for you. What made you want to start your podcast, and what was that journey like? Starting the podcast and really building it and growing it.
I started way back in 2022 with my first band convention, which was called Drama Drama Live.
Okay.
And I missed the first convention because I didn't know anything about it. So I just met a whole bunch of people through social media because of various actors. I mean, I knew a little bit about Andrew Walker, Rock Brown, or Trevor Donovan. Then the newly actor was Tyler Hines. So he was a big thing back then. So I thought, oh, I wonder how much it cost. So I looked it up. I live in Wisconsin. The first event was in Nashville. So I
Oh,
looked it up. I'm like, that much. And plus the plane ticket and plus the hotel. And I don't know anybody. I catch the next one. Shoot. Okay. So I start making friends and start meeting people through social media and live vicariously through their lives on that weekend. I was like, okay. Then I got into it and then I saved money every single day for the next event, which was supposed to happen in Georgia. But then COVID happened and
uh,
they weren't sure how they were going to handle it. But then so I was it was 20 days. I think it was like 20 days or 25 days after the event. They were like, we have to postpone. We care about everybody's safety, the band, the crew, the talent, and the area though we're going to postpone. And we will provide more details later. Okay, fine. And then a week later, they came up with a new date and a new location, and that was in June. I'm like, even better. June. I'm not working because I'm a teacher, and it's my birth month. So that's even better. And it was in Florida. But the downside, it went from 20 days to 155 days. So I was like, I go with that's fine, that's absolutely fine. So I wonder, I met so many people, I met so many friends that I met through social media, and we were just like, oh my God. And I was thinking, I don't know if I should start a podcast. Really, I wanted to start a podcast solely on myself, that teacher, that parent, and the parent with a special needs kid, because
Mm.
we got into a car accident 9 years ago, and it left my kid with special needs and hard of hearing and traumatic brain injury. So that was another journey. So I wanted to branch out my podcast with Hallmark, with directors, writers, supporting one, the authors of the book, of whatever book I read, so I'm slowly branching out and opening up different talents, different people, so people can share their experience behind acting world or behind their career perspective. And because everybody is a human being and everybody has their own struggles and their own life aside from their career or profession. I mean, look at the actors. They have their own life other
Right.
than acting. So that it's been 2 years. It will be my second year of running the Cat Chat podcast next week. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow, I love that. Well, congratulations on 2 years.
Yo, come here. My dog. I
Oh,
live by the trail. There's people walking, they just bark at everything. I'm like, stop.
my dog does the same thing. Same thing. But yeah, congratulations on 2 years. That's incredible. I love hearing that journey.
Yeah.
Um, like it's so important, because you're absolutely right. Everybody has a life. Everybody has things that they're going through, that they sometimes might not even talk about. So like, you doing this podcast could really be helping someone.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of podcasts. I mean, on bullying, like cyberbullying, bullying in school, and mental health within during COVID time, because a lot of people struggle with mental health during COVID, and depression, and anxiety, and special needs. And I'm a deaf-only period teacher. To a point, I have my own struggle. So podcast is one of my other many escape or hobbies because it gives me another opportunity to connect with really anybody. I mean, if they're an actor, if they're an author, if they're a director, if they're a Broadway performer, if they're a podcaster or an influencer, it gives me a chance to know them and try to get into the deep with them and figure out their purpose of their life or their purpose their career as long as they're personalized. So I have a lot of good podcasts, good interviews, and leaving me inspired. After every podcast interview I've had, I feel inspired. Well, maybe I will be inspired to be in a Broadway play, but definitely in the acting world in some way.
Yeah,
Well, again, thank you so much, Elijah. If there's no any other questions or comments, I appreciate you come on the Cat Chat podcast and share your glimpse of Broadway TV reality show things I hope to see at more of the project in the future, whether it's Broadway again or TV movie in the future, who knows?
yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm open to whatever opportunities come my way. So yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah,
Definitely.
thank you for
No
having
problem.
me.
Have a good night.
You as well.
Bye.